So here, in this passage, we have something interesting. Let's go over it together. It says, the event horizon or boundary of a black hole represents both blank and intangibility. Space travelers would pass through this literal point of no return, so yada yada, that the precise moment at which their fate was sealed would almost certainly not be registered. So as soon as you finish reading, probably the mention of a black hole, space travelers, right, can spark in your mind the idea that the space travelers or space travel in general could be hazardous or dangerous. So this choice would probably pull your eye instantly. If a space traveler can be hazardous or dangerous, a very likely one would be hazard for the first blank. And you can also think of space travelers to be heroic, right? So an instant catch could be heroically for the second blank, since space travelers could be considered heroic many times, especially those traveling nearby a black hole. Okay? Have you seen Interstellar? So you can guess that this could be trap choices because the theme, the main topic here, which is related to space travel, could make you fix your attention on these two choices. But we need to look at the true clues, okay, in this question, same as in any other text completion question. First of all, we understand here our pivot, this semicolon, conveys the idea that the two parts of the statement, because this is just one sentence, this paragraph is just one sentence, the two parts of the statement, the two clauses on both sides of the semicolon, they must express parallel, thoughts. This calls for parallel thoughts in both parts of the statement. So let's analyze the first blank. For the first blank, okay, clearly our target is the black hole. It says the black hole represents something and something. So this is our target for the first blank. Okay? But what's our clue? Notice that the first part of the statement conveys two aspects of a black hole: something and intangibility. And so these two aspects must be somehow touched in the second part of the statement, after the semicolon. So what is the one that refers to the blank, to the first blank? Notice that as soon as the second part of the statement begins, it talks about travelers or space travelers passing through a literal point of no return. So it's most likely that this mention refers to the first blank, while the second part of the second statement refers to the second aspect, or intangibility. Now, the fact that we have here, so we identify here our clue. For the first blank is the mention of the point of no return. Our pivot, this expression, both something and intangibility, together with the semicolon help us look for parallelism between uh, the expression point of no return and our noun in the first blank. So what is the idea here? We need for a word that conveys the sense of uh, inevitability, right? When you go past the point of no return, that means whatever is ahead of you, you must invariably meet that, get to that point. You cannot return, you cannot go back. All is there is what is ahead of you to meet. Okay? So this idea of invariability or inevitability
Letter B.
is what we need to look for, right? Among the choices, we see that hazard really doesn't match our feeling. Based on the clues, irrevocability, as Saulo mentioned, is the best. The infallibility here is not appropriate in this context. Infallibility, true, this can think, or this can make you think of something that will not fail. That is to say, something that cannot be avoided as it was predicted, but no, that's not the sense. Infallible is the quality of not being able to fail, but it's applied to a person. Okay? A person is infallible. Yes, but not here a black hole. So, irrevocability is better, conveying the idea of inevitability of passing a certain point of no return. Now, for the second one, it's true that heroically could seem an adverb of manner that you could apply to space travelers. Yes, because of the whole topic, the idea. If you've seen the movie Interstellar, then you know how difficult it was for them astronauts in the mission near this massive black hole, for them to escape their fate. It was almost impossible, right? It was very epic. But despite heroically could seem a nice match, the thing is we need to analyze the clue. And the second target refers to space travelers. This is an adverb of manner we need to look for that applies to the actions of a space traveler passing through a literal point of no return. So we have here our target, because the adverb of manner missing in the second blank refers to an action of them. But what is the clue? The clue is this, because since this is a parallel construction, the second aspect that a black hole represents must be somehow reflected in the second part of the statement. If point of no return aligns with irrevocability, intangibility must align with what is said after the so that. And so here our clue, intangibility, also aligns with this information, right? That says that the precise moment in which they had their doom or their fate was sealed, obviously a negative fate, was not registered. Okay? So here the precise moment in which their destruction, their doom, was determined was not registered. They wouldn't realize at which moment their fate was being determined. So the fact that this, is referred to as intangibility, and the fact that we have this parallel construction because of our pivot here, right? We have the both and construction. that instruct us to look for two aspects in the second statement, and we know that there is a parallel construction because of the semicolon. So this is something that should be, you know, something as without knowing or realizing what. So the idea is that they would pass this point of no return, what is called the event horizon, right? This is the limit or the border of a black hole. Once you cross that, not even light can escape the attraction, the draw of a black hole, right? And it will eventually be attracted to the core of the black hole and be destroyed. So the point is that the space travelers would pass this point of no return, but they wouldn't realize that they had crossed that event horizon. So they wouldn't know the exact moment in which they were bound to be destroyed. That's why we're uh, better choosing indiscernibly rather than heroically. Indiscernibly is something that, you would do without even realizing well how that happened. Well, dangerously could probably align with heroically here, but it doesn't help achieving a parallel construction with intangibility. Yeah, intangible means that what which cannot be touched, both literal and figuratively. The thing is, they couldn't touch the precise moment in which they were bound to be destroyed by crossing the event horizon. So they would cross this point without even knowing they had crossed it indiscernibly. So here the clues lead to two totally different choices than those the very theme or topic of the passage would kind of mislead you to find or to identify. Okay, so this is kind of a typical trap in several text completion questions. We have to be careful, so better to follow the approach to analyze the blanks, okay, in a manner which you are not easily misled.